My whole career exists on Audacity and very little else. There is some shelves left unstacked. The last great decade for culture, for music, for fashion, for vibe, for entertainment, for comedy, for everything was the 90s. And since then, everything has been homogenous and, you can't separate one decade from another decade. I wish that Hot Fudge had been a single. Hot Fudge, here come the judge, there's a green card in the way. The Holy Ghost and the Holy Coast are moving to LA. That should have been a single. It's all about acceptance and it's all about gratitude. And to be in a place of gratitude instead of a couple of decades ago receiving all of this success and not being able to derive any joy from it is a lot different.
Robbie Williams is on the show.
Hi, mate.
It is nice to see you. I was thinking to myself earlier on today, we've done this a few times over the years.
We have.
And back in this strange place, so I've been on Virgin for 25 years this year. And it's nice to have you back in the building. Really.
It's good to be here. But also, I'm thinking the last time we did this, you didn't have a white beard.
I didn't.
And
I
hair?
didn't. And
what is happening underneath that
Not
cap?
a great deal. And I also didn't have any tattoos. How do you wrap your head around that remarkable stat, 16 #1 albums, right? Because the ego of an artist would say, that's what I want, right? That's the drive of an artist, right? But the human brain, you're Robbie Williams at home with your wife and kids, right, goes, that's a bit mad. How do you process something like that?
It's absolutely insane. My whole career exists on Audacity and very little else. There is some shelves left unstacked at an Asda in Stoke-on-Trent because I am not there, and that would be my rightful place. And like you said, the ego of an artist, it is what I wanted, and and that last one become desperately important to me. Also, at the same time as having complete imposter syndrome, believing that I don't deserve any of this, but that has abated somewhat because this last week I was like, okay, we've done this shtick where I don't deserve any of this, and it's appalling that it's happened to me. Why don't we try this? Why don't we just try and sit in the midst of it and be really appreciative and grateful that it's happened to you, instead of giving yourself a British hard time for achieving success. And that's where I'm at. I'm at a very calm, statesman-like period for the last week or so where this record has existed, where I sit in it and just have a sort of whimsical smile, and I try to open my heart to it, and I'm achieving, I don't know, some growth within myself.
Well, isn't that maturity? Because I did Virgin Radio first time around, and then I left Virgin Radio and had a bit of a meltdown, frankly. And so, if I'm totally honest, and then I come back here into this building, and you see this studio, and I get to do it all over again. And actually, what I have really is gratitude. I'm just grateful for coming in here, talking to people like you, working with the people.
We're at that part in our lives where if you've learned anything, it's all about acceptance and it's all about gratitude. And to be in a place of gratitude instead of a couple of decades ago receiving all of this success and not being able to derive any joy from it is a lot different. And I am so pleased and grateful to be 51 and not 22.
You and me both. I want to talk briefly about the fans as well, because I was talking to a girl I used to go to school with called Lucy. Lucy and her husband, Matt. So I went to school. I went to sixth form school with Lucy, and when they said, Rob's going to come on the show, I was like, I'm going to talk to Lucy, right? And I said, have you got any questions for some fans? And we'll get onto some of those in a second. But the fan base that you have, and all artists have a fan base, of course they do, right? But your fan base is so incredibly loyal. And, it takes a lot to be a fan, to go to shows, to fly around the world. The fan base is quite diehard, quite special.
A lot of people a long time ago decided that I was their musical football team. And they've followed me through the trials and tribulations, the successes and the near deaths of my life. And I never really have a face of a fan in my mind when you talk about the people that have supported me and bought my tickets and come to shower me with love. All I have is a feeling. You know, you say fans, I have a feeling of what that feels like. And we're kind of like, I don't know, it's like I'm an errant family member. I am their favourite cousin. I am their cheeky brother. I am their embarrassing uncle. You know, but I have become a family member to lots of people that I have never met. You know, I am a stranger that they know very, very well.
That's weird that you don't know them, but they know you.
Yeah, I feel them, but I don't know them. Yeah, and it's impossible to know and reciprocate that to millions and millions and millions of people. And by talking about it now, I get the chance to maybe do so in some sort of way.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel it, and another thing I'm really grateful about.
What was the idea behind BritPop? Because here we are, we're in the middle of this decade, and it's been a decade that has been, I can't think of a decade that's been more horrific, frankly, than the 20s. And when I think back to the 90s, it was a good time. We're in this studio that looks like the TFI Friday set, which is mad.
Yeah.
It's quite a stroll down memory lane, but was this album born out of nostalgia? What was the idea behind this record?
Well, we now live in genuinely dystopian times, and that's the most interesting thing about being alive. What a time to be alive, for good or bad. May you live in interesting times, I think, as the Chinese say, and we definitely do. The last great decade for culture, for music, for fashion, for vibe, for entertainment, for comedy, for everything was the 90s. And since then, everything has been homogenous, and, you know, you can't separate one decade from another decade. And I was just saying it before, I have this theory that music's full. You know, everything that could be said has been sung, every note that could be played in whatever order has been played, every chord structure, everything that you could do in a video has been done. And the door shut in about 2001. And I am so glad that I lived when we were kings. But it's not, you know, modern day artists' fault now that we are where we are. It's just everything's been done.
So if everything has been done, where on earth do you go when you turn up to the studio on day one of making an album like this?
Well, there's no day one. You know, it's been a continuing conveyor belt ever since I started this journey of my solo career. So I'm already 5 albums down the road, you know, and I now know that my career is not about releasing singles. I mean, I've learned on this album, everything has to be moments from here on in. It has to be moments that people can signpost their lives by, when that happened or when this happened. And I believe I've done a good job at making a good album, but I haven't done a good job at creating moments, and that's what I need to do next.
This record sounds like you're having fun, though. Like, in the DNA of this record, Robbie Williams is having fun. How could you not have fun when you get Tony Iommi on the record? How could you not have fun when you have collaborations with Chris Martin on this record? So tell us a little bit about the putting of the songs together.
Well, for the last few albums, I've been chasing the success of the past. And I never used to write like that. I used to write to see where I was going next and then hope that the audience came with me, and they did. And I've returned to that with this record. The album before this, I was desperately trying to find a hit so we can keep this oil tanker from not hitting the harbour. But with this one, I'm just like, let's write, let's see what happens. And then hopefully they'll come with us. And so far, the reception to it has been incredible from the fans. It's sort of been heralded as one of my best ones.
Well, I feel like this is a new Robbie Williams. That it's almost liberating to see you free from probably the pressure that was put on your shoulders by, you know, who? You.
Me. Oh, yeah. Totally me. Not by a record company, not by management, me. But yeah, I've just been writing and got the guitars out again. And yeah, I now know that I won't be searching for hits. I'll just be searching to make myself happy.
Is it possible to pinpoint one or two shows in your career that are outstanding and sort of away from Nebworth? Because when I think of you live, I think of Robbie Williams in Hyde Park a couple of summers ago. The
so
sun
much
was
fun.
going down. I had never seen a sky like it, Robbie. And it was almost, I mean, as I'm saying it, I can feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. And it was almost like the Prince show when Prince is playing the Super Bowl in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
You couldn't have asked for a better Mother Nature stage show
Listen,
than that. That for me was one of your best.
Yeah,
Did it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it's sensational, and the love was overwhelming. And we're talking minute fractions when I say that on this tour, the first night at the Emirates was probably the best show I've ever done for enjoyment. And then there was Croke Park, which was the best audience that I've ever had. You'll never beat the Irish. And the Hyde Park shows are just unbelievably spectacular and feel wonderful, and you feel enveloped with love, and everybody seems to be incredibly happy that I'm there, and that was wonderful in itself. But then there's these odd gigs that just pop out and go, wow, what a time to be alive.
You have the greatest job in the world, I think.
Yes.
Robbie Williams he's looking around in the studio. He likes the TFI vibe of this, right? Were you on TFI Friday back in the day?
Loads. Yeah, quite a few times. And it was quite the show to be on and get on. You know, I remember there was gatekeepers. Phil Mount, who was a friend of mine, booked the act, I think. And I always remember feeling that I was part of something by being allowed to be on that show.
I remember when I got the call to join Virgin Radio for the first time in 2001. I started on the day that Chris left, and I was gutted. Because he was like, I was this weird kid who had all my mates had posters of like Elle Macpherson on their wall, and I had a poster of Chris Evans. And
well, there's like people like Chris, like you literally tune into his frequency.
Yeah.
Not only the radio, but also the frequency that he's putting out like a beacon.
Oh, we know that. We work with him.
Yeah, and look, you know, to be that kind of person, you have to be a certain kind of crazy and insane and unique. And he is. Chris Evans is a unique personality, and you are tuning into that frequency.
Here are some questions from the fans. This is from Carlotta Del Grande. She says, are there any Britpop album songs that were written from the 1990s?
No.
Thank you, Carlotta. There's your answer. Claudia from Germany says, if you could make any song from your back catalogue more famous or more successful, which one would it be and why? Which one got away, Robbie?
Which one got away? Do you know what? I wish that Hot Fudge had been a single. Hot fudge, here come the judge, there's a green card in the way. The Holy Ghost and the Holy's Coast are moving to LA. That should have been a single.
So lyrics, can you remember all the lyrics? Like when
No.
you can't. Okay,
No,
so there are certain...
I have to have auto cue.
That was well done.
Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, I can do bits and bobs. But I have auto cue at the gig, and I it's like having a safety wire.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I know it. But I've had moments on live TV where I've completely forgotten the words and completely forgotten the melody, and that gives you a that's when you realise the colour of adrenaline is brown.
I write everything down. I write everything down on the show for this, and people come in and go, "Why have you written it all down?" Because at any point I might just forget that I'm on the radio when I'm doing this show.
Yeah, this is a tightrope walk act.
Yeah, and you and I think are cut from the same cloth.
My gig, you know, we could fall, and I could cause an international incident at any moment. I could end my career at any moment.
Likewise.
And that's the anxiety that I'm walking with and talking with at all times.
But it's quite a thrill, though, as well, isn't it?
It's amazing. Amazing.
This is from Amanda Wanless.
Yes.
She says, if 1995 Robbie heard this album, what would Robbie Williams of 95 think of Britpop?
I think it was amazing. Yeah, he really, really would. He'd really enjoy it and be amazed that it exists.
Because this was the album that you wanted to make, really, wasn't it, when you left Take
No,
That?
well, no, this is the album. I thought to myself, I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to leave Take That in my mind. And what would I write now, knowing what I now know? And what I realised the other night, sitting in a hot tub in Dubai, listening to it back with Carl and Owen, that I wrote and produced a lot of the album with.
Good work, chaps.
Thank you. That I have created what should have been my second album. This should have been the album after Life Through a Lens.
So we'll get the DeLorean and we'll go back in time and we'll squeeze this.
We'll release this. I don't think we'll get a No Regrets and Strong or Rock DJ, but no, Rock DJ wasn't on that. But you'll get Spies and Human and Pretty Face off this one.
And this is from Michelle Clark. Michelle Clark says, what song by another artist do you wish you'd written or released as a single? And I'll give you an example. So The Edge says that the one song he wishes he'd written was The New Radicals' You Get What You Give, which is a pretty good song.
Yeah.
Right? What's the one song that you wish you'd written?
Do you know what? Weirdly, the first one that pops up in my head, and like there's so many. What?
I'm guessing what it's going to
Go on.
Wichita Lineman.
Oh, I mean, yes, of course. Right.
Wichita Lineman is my favourite song.
I wish I was Jimmy Webb, basically. I wish I could write songs
yeah,
like Jimmy
but
Webb.
it's my favourite song, but not the one that I would. And like weirdly, and I don't know why, it's Yellow by Coldplay.
Great choice.
I don't know why.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Because and you know, Spies, Jane, and I just want.
Do these people exist, or are they voices in our heads?
No, they truly exist. I can see them. I think that they exist. They've been, and if they haven't, they've been in my head for a very long time. But I just want to start. Jane.
And when you see them live, like the crowd know what's coming next when it all kicks off.
Okay.
Right? And then you just go. My final question, and it's lovely to see you. Let's
Andrew.
not leave it 15 years
Please.
before you come in the next time. Tomorrow is Saturday. What does a Saturday involve?
Saturday's the best day of the
for Robbie
week.
Williams. Yeah, of course. Like immersed in the bosom of family.
In the bosom of family and football, and that, and you know, you never escape the feeling that it's not a school day. You know, that stays with you as a 51-year-old. On a Saturday, I feel as though I do not have to have double geography tomorrow.
Can I just say, though, that the one thing that must suck about being famous is that you can't go to the tip. The thing that I love the most about the weekend is
Getting rid of stuff or going through it like Stig of the Dump.
Yeah, but no, I don't live on the tip. I'm not like a bum, but I like going to the tip and getting rid of things. And I now go there so often that the guys who work there know me. Like, morning, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll stay famous.
Robbie Williams, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.